Okay, and we are live.
Oh, you're alive. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think about Hunter Biden buying crack and then recording it?
Hold on a second. How can I get rid of this?
Uh,
I don't think that doesn't really solve it. We got this
did we
annoying welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and enable our community by our community guidelines. Whatever. It can stay there. Type something in
is it
chat. Let's see if it goes away.
me?
Yeah, you.
All right, give me a moment. This is gonna. I need to switch accounts. God damn it! I hate everything. Why am I only signed into one Google account on my email? What? What is this? Are you kidding me? Let me go to YouTube. I should have at least 7 accounts. I don't know why I only have one signed in right now.
You just got signed out of.
Holy Holy crap, that I don't even understand. God, yeah, with all of them except for one.
That's unlucky.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I think I spelled Saturdays wrong.
No. We'll just start with our general thoughts on it. I really liked. I, wa- no, it didn't go away. Okay, whatever.
On Stranger Things? Holy
Yeah,
crap, what's happening on my computer right now? Okay, sure, I guess we're hopping into it like that.
yeah.
You
I
know,
wonder if there's a
I
way
I
to
have a
get rid of
question
this.
for you. How
Yeah.
come 10 minutes before we do every podcast, you have something to say, and as soon as we get into the podcast, you like lose everything?
Oh. Okay, there we go. Back.
You're
Go.
just talking about some retarded kid on League of Legends,
Yeah, it was.
right?
Yeah,
And
but
I and I
that's
and I
not podcast worthy or friendly conversation.
well, here's some podcast friendly conversation. Did you see that there was some more Hunter Biden leaks and he was like buying crack and he was like arguing about ounces of crack with hookers?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that's he's got a weird I and then Elon Musk posted a meme. It was like Hunter Biden every time he buys cracks with in horse, and it's a guy with like a helmet and it's got a bunch of cameras mounted on it. Because we have a video of him naked in a like a sensory deprivation chamber,
Mm-hmm.
and he's smoking crack and drinking hard seltzer.
Oh my god.
It's like, why does this dude just film himself doing things?
Maybe because
Senator
he just
sons, am I
wants.
right?
Maybe he just wants the attention. But
Yeah,
then
but
again,
he's
I've
not
never.
posting them. These were leaks from his like broken laptop. You remember?
Oh
He's a
yeah.
so he just films himself doing things. It's so bizarre.
I wonder when he's gonna go to jail.
He's not. He's a senator's son. He's a fortunate one. He's actually the president's son. Definitely not going to jail.
Mm-hmm. So.
And what he's just doing crack. I mean, it may be for like some more like serious crimes. I mean, there's that Ukraine stuff with him and like the business dealings, but like he's not going to jail for crack.
Mm-hmm.
Like never in a million years. I listened to our last podcast over.
Yeah.
I people have told me that I do this, but I never like listen to them. But like sometimes I just kind of like argue about things that I don't even believe.
Mm-hmm.
Like we spent like 5 minutes on the death penalty, and I am like totally against the death penalty, but I was arguing tooth and nail for it. Or I was rationalizing it, I guess is a better way to put it.
Sounds like you.
Yeah, well, I don't even know why I do that.
You wonder why
It's
you got authoritarian on the political compass test?
well, it didn't ask any questions about whether or not you believed in. Well, at first I didn't get authoritarian. I'm still on the libertarian side of the spectrum. I'm just the most authoritarian.
Okay. Okay.
which also doesn't make any sense because I wholeheartedly believe in infanticide, which is like a position that none of you will take. Because I don't think babies have like value to their lives. No, I believe in that mothers should be able to kill their babies because that's their property. You do with it what you like, and they
Well,
should be
the
able to do that.
problem is the mass murder of babies within the state's interest.
Is it within the state's interest? No, it's not within the state's interest. That's the biggest problem is that we're below replacement rate, so like killing babies isn't like ideal for us right now. But I think you should be able like kids don't really have value to their lives up to like 9 years. Like once you're 10,
This is
then
crazy.
you're like a valuable you have like human rights. But like I think that like euthanasia should be like an option available to parents.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Hold on a second.
You left me. You left me.
I did. Unfortunately,
Uh,
I realized that since I'm recording on my end, it wasn't going to make much of a difference. So
yeah.
it's like, wait, I just now can't hear Calvin, and I'm still recording.
Yeah, what were you trying to do?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
I do not share anywhere near that
You do
opinion.
not share any of his beliefs. Dude, we're
I'm,
living in like a minor apocalypse right now. You realize that? There's like governments around the world that are just crumbling right now.
yeah, you're more likely to die in a Planned Parenthood than you are in a school shooting.
Is that true? Well, I mean, yeah, it's true. I mean, like obviously, I don't know. It's true. You're more likely to die from heart disease than from a Wait, is that true?
Probably.
Probably true. Yeah. But to be fair, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, because I mean, heart disease is considered like a successful person's disease.
Way of dying, yeah.
Mhm.
I'd much rather die of heart disease than an abortion. Uh, those I, I saw a video and it was like I don't even know how to describe it, but it was some guy telling a story about like a corrupt abortion center, but it
Mhm.
was like obviously a fake story. Like I can't even remember it, but I was thinking about it and I was like, like, and the point of the story was like white people actually get more abortions than black people, but they have money, so they just hide it. And I thought about the logistics of what he was talking about, and it's not a viable business option. Like this couldn't have happened.
Oh,
He was like, I was in a city and I worked in an abortion center, and one day I came in too early, and there were a bunch of white people, and I was like, whoa, they're like doing under the table abortions, or like off the record or something like that. And I thought about it for a while, and like the way he described it, I was like, yeah, that doesn't work.
they're just doing like secret free abortions.
Well, not free, like if you have money, you get it on the down low, and that like to me that made sense at first, and I thought about it, and I was like, well, like, uh, it's that Stannis Baratheon thing, like, uh, a secret is safe if two people can keep a secret if one is dead and the other is cursed only to speak in limericks or something like that. I don't know. Like either so they're basically saying that only like certain doctors and nurses can come in, but I was like,
Mhm.
you can't just run an abortion center without administrators and janitors and stuff like that. Like that's not how that works.
That is, yeah, that is true.
Like that you it's impossible to keep a secret like that.
Ugh.
Anyway, the
Anyway,
world's ending. What do you think of Stranger Things?
I thought it was season 4 was pretty good. I wouldn't
I thought
say
it was okay, and it ended 7 times.
they should have just
That
had the balls to kill off what's her name again.
when Winona Ryder should have died.
No, not Winona Ryder.
I know I like Winona Ryder.
That
Who?
that annoying girl. The
11.
redhead. No, the redhead.
Oh, which redhead? There's two redheads. Max?
Yes, Max. Yeah, Max should have died.
I think she's way less annoying than 11. What are you talking about?
She is less annoying than 11, but she still should have died.
I think she did die. She's brain dead.
Well, no, because why would they go to the length of resurrecting her and then keeping her brain dead if they weren't going to bring her back?
Wait, did they resurrect her? I'm so confused.
Yeah, she died for a minute. Her heart stopped, and then the doctor was like, she was dead, but then she came back. It was a literal
I'm guessing
miracle.
they gave their. It's like the actor. They wanted to
It's
give
when
her an out.
L was in her mind and
Yeah,
somehow stabilized her.
yeah, but I think that means she's like brain dead. Like she's technically
Mhm.
alive.
And
You
it's
can't
like
just like psychically treat people.
she was hardly a character. At least like let her finish her plot. She finished her arc, which she finally got in season 4. Because before, like, let's be honest, she was just a tool to distract the main characters with a love life or a romantic interest rather than being an interesting character. They finally changed that in the latest season. And so I don't know why like everyone's going crazy about her now this season. It was
Yeah,
like, yeah,
I never thought she was a very interesting character at all. Ooh,
she not until season 4. She finally became a character in season 4, and she should have died at the end. But
I think
that
everyone should have died at the end. I was kind. At first, I was kind of hoping 11 would die, but the thing is, without 11, you don't have a show,
Mhm.
so they weren't going to do that. But she might die at the end of next season if that's like the last season they're planning.
Yeah. Mm. Steve is another one of those interesting characters where he should probably be dead, but he's like an interesting character that fans are loving, and so they don't have the guts to actually kill him off because he like finished his character arc in like what season 2, but he was just a fan favorite, and so they haven't killed him, and he's kind
Who's
of
the
just
guy
been in
that
limbo.
died at the end of the season? The punker? What was his name?
Eddie Munson.
Eddie. Holy crap! That character did not deserve that like moment. Could have just died.
He was
I
so
I
he
did
was the
not care
best
about that
character.
character at all.
What? Oh my
Not at
god.
all. He took up space is all he did.
So, would you have been upset if he was introduced earlier,
What do you mean?
though, or in like a prior season?
No, I don't think I would have cared.
Oh my god, Eddie was the best character I thought in season 4, my
Nah, he
favorite.
sucked.
Um, and it was really cool to see like an introduction into like Metallica or and metal because that was a huge thing of the 80s, and they've kind of just shown the pop music side of things.
Yeah.
Well, in the 80s, like all the teenagers were listening to Metallica, really, because that was just came out, kind of like teenagers listen to rap nowadays. And no, it was kind of cool to just see that finally come around and them to show that side.
Yeah,
um,
well, they also brought up the Satanic Panic, which was like an 80s thing too.
yep.
Except it they didn't even treat it like the Satanic Panic actually was. They had a teenage jock who was suffering from the Satanic Panic.
Mhm.
Like that's not what happened, dog.
Well, it's not what happened, but it's like you stop and think from that jock's perspective. Like, he's like a little bit skeptical about it at first, and then he's out there looking for this the only real suspect for the murder of this girl, because he like they were trying to basically say like we don't know what, or the kids, the Hellfire Club were basically like, hey, we don't know what the fuck happened to her, she just lifted into the air and died, kind of thing. And he's like,
Right, and
that's bullshit, like that just doesn't happen. Right. And then he actually witnesses it happen to his friend out on the
yeah.
water. And it's like a holy fuck moment. So he goes out to get guns that are going to protect himself with, like all the other kids were. Now, it was a little bit played up, I think, that whole scene in the gun store where it was kind of like, it's a bit cringy, where it was like, "Look out, angry hicks with guns," which I was like, okay, whatever. We'll just keep moving on from there. And he gets to the satanic ritual, which is happening with um Max and whatever. What's that other kid's name? Eric? No,
Who's Eric?
no, it wasn't. No, it's not Eric.
Which kid?
The black. Yeah, yeah, Eric. Yeah, Eric
Is it Eric?
Sinclair. Yeah, the black guy.
Hmm.
And he's like sitting with Max, and he's like, "What the fuck is happening here? Like, she's in a trance. Like, what's going on?" And he pulls out the gun, and he's like, "Tell me what's going on now." And in his defense, Eric kind of does a really shit job at explaining what the fuck is going on, because his only response is, "I can't snap her out of it. It's too late." And it's like, so the jock who's trying to get revenge, not necessarily, or trying to bring justice, save the town from the satanic cult, which he's been raised in a Christian cult. This is, or the Christian cult basically, where he's taught like, hey, oh no, Satan is real. People worship him. They're causing supernatural, scary things. That's the only context he has. He watched his girlfriend died from it, and now he's watching his friend Max die from it, and it's like,
Was Max his friend?
oh no, maybe not friend, but this other girl is about to die from the same satanic cult. That's the only context he has as a character in the show. And so I think it makes logical sense for him to basically act almost irrationally the way he did. Like, and it's really sad that he dies thinking he failed to save Max and he failed the town. But it's like, lol, he gets ripped in half by a
Yeah,
portal.
he did get a really mean spirited death, didn't he?
Yeah,
I
and
saw that. It was like 2 seconds. He's on the ground. He just dies.
yeah, he dies screaming in agony as he gets ripped in half, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, this is a character, but you're treating him as like, the teenage school shooter. And it's like, come on, like, this is a real character who's trying to save his town. Maybe you could have done something with him. Like, maybe he ends up going through the portal and sees the upside down in its entirety and begins to realize, oh shit, this is much bigger than I thought. And you kind of have this character who goes on like a little bit of an arc that would have been pretty cool. Maybe he followed them out onto the water and like dove down after them to try to see if they were like
He could have at least gotten a
storing the
next
body
season arc.
somewhere. It's like, come on, could have done more with him. That
He
was
could
a
have at least,
big,
if he survived, he could have at least gotten to this next season arc.
yeah.
Like I don't know why they just they like ripped him in half when
No,
the town started to crack.
they needed an antagonist.
Well, yeah, but the antagonist from
Well,
season one
not an antagonist,
is
but a stumbling block, I should call it.
oh yeah,
Because
but
yeah,
think about who's the bully Steve from he was kind of the bully from season one
yeah, he was.
and he got a redemption.
Yeah, he kind of learned responsibility and leadership.
Yeah, and but he did he but they can still give other although to be fair, I suppose if they just kept giving bullies redemptions like that only works once.
Oh yeah, they're like they already have too many characters in this cast to a
I know
point
it's
where
they need to start killing people. That's how Game of Thrones handled it. They just killed a bunch of people.
yeah, a character goes on an arc, they die, you get a nice little like woo, and then
Or
moment.
yeah, or at least they didn't want you to care about the characters.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like Brandon Tully, the Blackfish, just fucking disappeared after the Red Wedding for 3 seasons.
Hmm.
They were like, he was a funny, but nobody cared about him.
But yeah, so like with Stranger Things, it's like you got so many characters and they're kind of all over the place. Max isn't a real character until season 4. Um, the police officer, what was his name again? I don't remember his name. Um, shit. But you know who I'm talking about, right? He is kind of just he starts as a super serious, hardened cop, and then he kind of becomes like a laughing stock joke in seasons 2 and 3, and then he actually becomes more of a real character. um Winona Ryder's character kind of stays the same. but she's been really good the whole time.
There were too many
And
plot lines in this season.
Max's brother was only like a motivation for a character. It's like they just don't know what they're doing with half their characters. This is definitely a writing problem, I think, with the directors. Sorry, I'm looking up who directed it. It's the something. It's like something brothers. But yeah, they have consistently had problems with their character writing being really inconsistent. Like, look at 11. She's probably the most useless character ever. She's just kind of overpowered, and they just had this whole subplot for her to keep her out of the action. Yeah, there was no reason for like any of it. They just needed to fill screen time.
Honestly, I th- for the last two episodes were way too
Duffer
long.
Brothers.
Like
Yeah.
last two, they were more like movies. They were like two movies. They were too long. I didn't care about any of the plot lines.
Hmm.
11 was doing her own thing, and it didn't really matter at all.
Yeah.
And then the stoner Will, Mike, and Will's brother, don't
Hmm.
remember his name. They were all looking for her, but that didn't matter because she didn't matter. So now
Yeah,
we
because
get like
all they did was like we're gonna have this subplot of them also looking for those friends looking for them, but we're just gonna have the government kind of hold them up and delay them, right?
yeah, and then yeah, right. And then
It's
we have the USSR plot line, which starts out as two plot lines, but
really
becomes
shit.
one plot line. And
It's
that
so
plot line
shit.
is I liked watching it, but also didn't matter. So really, we have one plot line that matters at all,
Hmm.
and it was. I mean, definitely better than season 2 and season 3 because I hated those seasons. Although the mind flare was pretty cool.
I
Like
think putting a face on the mind flare was a good idea
in
because it's
season this season,
oh yeah.
what is one really the face of the mind flare though?
Yeah, he is. It was him all along. They kind of
Oh
exposed that. I know at first they described him as a 5-star general, but they realized throughout the season that it was him, which I think was a really good idea because it's kind of like season one, the mind flare, ooh, spooky future villain. Seasons 2 and 3, this must be the mind flare again, ooh, spooky, and it's kind of like season 3, it was the mind flare again.
I
Oh
think the biggest problem with
no!
season 2 and 3 were that the Demogorgon was just such a cool
Hmm.
antagonist that I mean the Demogorgon. First of all, they really power creep the Demo, like
They
they
did.
really nerfed him,
I remember them beating up Demogorgons with bats in season 1 and 2.
and they didn't kill it with the bats, did they?
No, I don't think they did, but they beat them up with bats, with like baseball bats and stuff.
So I guess they're not that strong. But like, isn't their skin supposed to be really hard? Like you can't really shoot them with guns. You got to shoot them in their face hole,
Yeah,
and that's how you kill them.
your face hole's connected to the neck
But
hole.
so I mean, maybe they're you're able to fight against them, but I don't think that. God, what's the guy? I can't remember any of these characters' names right now. The sheriff, what's his name?
Ah, that's gotta say, I
Hopper.
Hopper, yes, Hopper.
Yeah, so I don't think Hopper should have been able to beat the Demogorgon in the one. Maybe because it was hurt. Maybe that's their explanation.
Hmm.
That fire really hurts them and it weakens him. But like, come on, this really cool antagonist from season 1 that would like stalk their enemies is just getting beat up by these three middle-aged,
Yeah,
suburban white people, middle America.
okay, yeah.
It's stupid.
And I apologize to everyone that we're having trouble with the names. Like it's
I
been
know
two
it's
weeks
too
now.
much.
Or I knew like everyone's names, but it's been 2 weeks like since I finished the season, and so and I didn't take notes, but I got a list of all the characters pulled up now. So speaking about Hopper, it was like as you kind of mentioned, yes, season one. He was um because I went back and watched a little bit of season one, two, and then two and three, a little bit of those as well. Um, Hopper was like a hero in season one. It's like yeah, he was shown as the depressed dad who was taking who was like protecting or sad because he lost his daughter, but he takes his job really seriously in season one, and he almost solves the entire plot in the first three episodes and by himself. And he's kind of like, and he goes out almost as like a little bit of a town hero just in that entire series. It was really cool to see. Um, like when the body shows up at the water, it shows that like he really cares in season one because like as he's pulling up, he's like, please don't be the kid, please don't be the kid, please do not be the kid that he was looking for, because all he wants is not Lucas, but he just wanted the little guy to be all right. What was his name again? I forget. Wasn't Will? Was it Will? I think
Which
it was Will. Yeah,
will,
Will.
yeah,
Yeah, it was when Will kind of we went missing.
I they should have stopped at one season, honestly.
And
Like
I don't know.
like really
Season.
Stranger. If the Demogorgon was just a monster that appeared from another universe and Will was lost in that other universe and that's how it ended,
Mm-hmm,
that would have been cool. But
mm-hmm.
what but what even is the Upside Down that they decided? Did 11 create the Upside Down?
No, so it
She
was
just opened a gate to it
nine. I believe the year was 1983, and time is frozen there.
in the Upside Down.
Yeah. So I do not know what created it. We don't know that. We might, and I just might not know. But basically, time is frozen there, and it kind of just lingers at 1983, and that is why like Eddie has his guitar that he can go get, or why Nancy couldn't get her rifles. But so yeah, but kind of back on Jim really quick. In seasons two and three, when he gets like demoted to being a punching bag, it's like constant fat jokes, camera angles where you're just seeing him belly front, and he's like always surrounded by beer bottles in his cabin. And then
Right.
season four, they bring it back to like, oh look at this reuniting between Jim and Eleven. But then it's like you kind of like watch back and it's like Jim and Eleven never had a relationship as characters. Like we were never shown any good times between them other than her talking back to him as a rebellious teenage girl and sneaking out. Like there was nothing there, and they're kind of just forcing it like, oh look, remember the good old days? And this season does play a lot on a lot of nostalgia between
Well,
characters that just didn't exist.
that was. I mean, it was always remember the good old days was the like
Oh yeah,
point of the show.
it is a remember the 80s.
Yeah, it's all member berries, which is
Hmm.
you know, remember the '80s, remember ET, remember Indiana Jones.
To be fair, they do a lot of a nostalgia bait in that show really well. Like, especially with their music choice, has always been phenomenal in how even the meanings of the different songs they play ties into the characters that they're attached to, or the moments or the goals at the time. But then there are other seasons, like season three, where it's like, let's just throw a mall in there. Remember malls in the 80s? And it's kind of like, well, come on, you could have done more than this. But then it's like you kind of just look at other choices they made, especially like the ones in season four, when it's like when they had Eddie playing Master of Puppets by Metallica, and it's like, oh, this song is very relevant to the moment and to Eddie's character and what's going on. Or with Max on Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill, which for some reason that song is blown up on the internet now, and kind of shows how shallow people are and how people's taste in music is so easily influenced by popularity of stuff. I don't know. But it's like that song is kind of encaptures her whole character. And then I'll be honest, Journey's song "Worlds Apart Separate Ways" gave me chills when it came on because like that's also like my favorite song ever.
I don't even know. I don't even know half the references in this show because I'm only like, I mean, I bet there's references you don't get either.
There are.
But like this show, it never did it for me really. I mean, season 1 was okay. Season 2 was not okay. I didn't watch season 3.
Hmm.
Season 4 was less than okay, but not okay.
Hmm.
Listen, they made the last 2 episodes full feature length movies.
Basically,
What
yeah.
these maniacs? Okay, listen, nobody wanted that.
Th-
Nobody.
I mean, they had to delay the last episode because they were still working on it. They worked on that final show literally up until like the day before it dropped.
Dude, it has I'm gonna call this I'm gonna call this the Batman of problem where movies end way too many times.
Hmm.
Like movies always have like a couple endings. There's like
Like
there's
Lord of
like
the Rings.
the end of the climax and the conclusion. Yeah, Lord of the Rings ends a lot. But actually, I feel like the Batman ends more than Lord of the Rings does
Hmm.
because I'm still interested when Lord of the Rings ends.
Okay, yeah, because fair, because it's like with Lord of the Rings, it's kind of flashes. We get to see the ending of each of these characters, as opposed to I sighed with disdain when they cut to 2 days later, where we got to see, we just missed all of Eddie's friends' reaction to his death. All we get is like a quick scene between um, Dustin and Eddie's grandfather,
Or his
where
uncle.
or uncle, where it's like, oh yeah, he died a hero. See, he didn't really do this. Which they could have done a redemption arc for Eddie post death, which would have been better. And they kind of just cut so much of that 2 days. What they could have showed character moments, but they didn't. They skipped it all. Ah! It was annoying. And I know I'm ranting about this show a lot is because I actually overall really I liked season 4, but it could have been better. It could have been better.
I it it's okay. Can I talk about one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
The design of the bad guy, cringe, so cringe. Oh my god. First of all, he was so skinny. My brother pointed this out. He was short and skinny, not intimidating. I don't care if he's a psychic. I would have beat the shit out of that guy. Like, okay, they didn't even like give him a suit to make him buffer or give him lifts or like film it in a way that made him look taller. He looked stupid. All right? And then, first of all, he had no nose as if his skin was ripped off, but he had full lips.
Yeah,
It was
you
his
just
head was
needed him to
way
be
too big.
scary.
His neck was so thick and the rest of him was skinny. He had one big hand. He wasn't scary. He was a little icky, but more in an uncanny valley sort of way.
I don't think an enemy has to be scary in design, but it still should be a good design that is going to kind of like when you look at them, you should get a feeling almost about how the character, what the kind of person they are,
Okay,
or the
but
kind of
okay, so is he supposed to be degrading in the upside down, or is the upside down supposed to be growing on him?
I think he's kind of just took over that place, and that's his realm. It's not
So
degrading him. He was just kind of sent there, and he's slowly
what happened to his
recovering.
body then?
That is his body.
What? Yeah, I know what happened to it.
Oh, I don't know what happened to it. They didn't cover that.
It was, but yeah, but they show a little montage and he slowly gets. So
Oh,
they
yeah.
start giving him like the Pirates of the Caribbean type half CGI look.
Hmm.
So like, I mean, they do this in every Pirates movie, but
Like
there's like the
Davy
dead men tell
Jones,
no
or
tales. Yeah,
like
exactly.
with Davy Jones, or something like Thanos or Rocket from Guardians are
Yeah, well,
examples
oh,
of characters.
think about this. Like in Dead Men Tell No Tales, they're guys that are like bloated and decaying, but only
Hmm.
like half of them.
Yeah,
So it's like a very Two-Face sort of thing. They could have done that. They show that it looked much cooler. Why did they go with covered in tentacles look? By the way, there were a lot of tentacles in the last episode. It
there
was
were.
very weird. There, there was a disturbing amount of tentacles, honestly.
Nancy would have loved
God. Yeah.
it. I wonder. I wonder how much like fan art is gonna come out between of that.
God, it's gonna be like Resident Evil 3
Go all over again. Why
or
didn't you
Resident
just
Evil
go for
2.
the finishing blow? He was on the ground outside the house, kind of half destroyed, and they just didn't finish him off.
Is he alive still, or did he
Yes,
die?
he is alive, and he's gonna be the
Ugh,
villain of the next season. They didn't kill him. They just
that's
injured him.
that sucks. Yeah, that's horrible.
They brought an axe with them, and they mentioned cutting off his head as a possibility of something to do to kill him. And yet they just shotgun him a few times and he goes flying out the window. And it's like, oh, we just didn't kill him. Oh my god. Sometimes some of the things in this show are like kind of cringe. But
Everything in this show was kind of cringe.
what they did get right was, even though they did have too many characters, they had way too many characters, more than they could have fully juggled. And unfortunately, a lot of them didn't get the highlight or the spotlights that they deserved. But character is king in, at least in shows. I think nailing your characters is always going to be the most important thing. And they did have a lot of good character work, especially with like Nancy, Steve, Will, Jim, Jonathan, Mike, Joyce as always, Lucas. Introducing Robin was really good, which her lesbian scene should not have been the finale scene of this show. It
Was that a
should not.
lesbian scene?
It was.
I
It
thought they were
was
sisters.
no. It was a
I must have
lesbian
missed something because
asking out scene.
they look exactly alike,
They
the
did.
two redheaded girls. So I was looking at it and I was like, are they doing like a sibling thing where like the two other sets of siblings were like
Nope.
away for a long time and they're doing this reconnection thing? And my brother goes, no, 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 I think they're doing a lesbian thing. And I was like, really?
It was. It was like what? Why? Okay. I'm not bad with the lesbian scene. I'm pissed off that the final scene of the show is this lesbian scene between a like an arc that kind of came up halfway through the season between um fuck Robin and her crush, instead of having it be like Eddie Munson's redemption arc, which was the like instead of having a redemption arc for him where after his death, which was the conflict of the entire season and kind of what everything was built off of. Just really
That's
dumb.
that is really cringe, and it was the last scene of the movie. You're right.
Yeah, it's like th- that was a design choice.
Mm.
That choice was done on purpose. And it makes me really wonder why they thought that that was more important. Oh my god.
That's it's yeah, it's a lot. It's oh, I so much about this movie is just or this show is just so too much.
It's still really good. People, you definitely should watch it. It's got a lot of good character stuff going
It's got
on.
a lot of
It's
good
really,
character stuff going. Yeah, sure, whatever. Sure, it does.
if you're gonna watch Stranger Things, I recommend watching season one and then going straight to season four. It'll give you all the context you need. It really does. Just skip seasons one and two. Do you have anything else to add to it?
No, no. I basically better than 2 and 3, worse than 1. The show sucks. I'm still gonna watch season 5
It
though. I
doesn't
guess
suck.
it's
Well,
horrible.
you can. I don't think it's
Wait,
horrible. I think
well,
it's
first
like
of all,
a
I
five.
might like the show if it wasn't so overhyped.
It is. It is very overhyped.
Like teenage girls love this show for no reason.
Because they
I don't know
love it.
what's up with I don't know what's up with Hot Topic nowadays, but like they can't get enough of Stranger Things, which is weird because I got enough of it after 3 episodes.
And what's weird is, I mean, it did have a slow start. I can definitely see why somebody would have enough of it by season three, or not by the third episode, because when I was watching it, like the first few episodes, I'm like, what the fuck are they doing here? Like, this feels like a big waste of time. And they did waste a lot of time, which is unfortunate because when you're doing a TV show, you don't have, or like a movie, you don't have time for useless scenes. Like, use every minute that you can.
And they don't do that. They
They don't.
waste so much time.
The pacing is way off because so much time is spent just kind of doodling around instead of developing those secondary characters that had so much more potential. But by the time like started getting to episodes 4 and 5, I was like, oh, this is starting to get pretty neat. Especially when like um the 11 arc started, because I actually found that a little bit interesting at first until I realized because it was actually giving like prior context to stuff we'd already seen, and then eventually I just started realizing, wait, this is just a waste of time after the whole Papa thing happened. Oh, what did you think of Papa's death?
Kill him. I feel like he should have just like been blown up or something, nuked from orbit. Honestly, I don't care.
Mm.
But by the way, that sniper, they were trying to kill 11. The sniper in the helicopter. He
So
was the
bad.
worst sniper I've ever seen. Worst shot.
To be fair, the copter was flying around all over the place, but yeah,
No, no,
it
no, no.
was
It was a
bad.
very stable helicopter. He was aiming. I was thinking, okay, maybe they're trying not to kill 11, so that's why he's aiming down. But it was so bad. He could have just moved up the sights. All right, I'm dumb. All right, I'm not the best shot in the world, but my brother, Air Force,
Mm-hmm.
he was sitting right next to me, and he goes, that guy's the worst shot. And I was like, I know, I'm thinking the same thing. Me and my brother watched this together, and like we both laughed out loud at that scene where he keeps missing them for no reason. Like broadside towards them, running straight away from
Mm-hmm.
where they are. It was so dumb.
What did you think of his shots when 11 was like rocking the helicopter back and forth
Well,
and
that's
just
fine
kept
because
missing her?
she's rocking the helicopter. He can miss when that's happening.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not he,
I think Papa's death
this
was
this
good.
special operations sniper is not allowed to miss an easy
Oh
shot
yeah.
like that.
If you're in like, I'm not entirely sure what the numbers are, but like from what I've heard, like or army snipers are not allowed to miss. Period. Like you're expected to deliver every time in a single shot, from what I've heard. But
It was it was dumb.
I think Papa's death, though, in context, at least for what it was, yes, the shooting was dumb. But the fact is that he just dies in the middle of the desert due to a bullet.
Didn't he
Kind of
die before?
showing. No, he didn't. But
All
it
right.
kind of just shows, like, he's not that scary of a person. He is just a mortal, a mere human, as one put it. Like, there's nothing too special about him other than he's a smart dude, a smart, crazy guy. I think it's kind of good and grounding again, and it kind of just shows like, hey. But then it was also neat getting to see 11's reaction to it, because it's like even though he was kind of abusive to her and used her, like he was a big part of her life and what her identity as a person is. And
Yeah.
he plays a big key role in her life, and so even losing him is, it was good to see 11's
Mm.
reaction on all that.
I could care less about Eleven's reaction. I hate this character. I hate this show. I mean,
Yeah, I
honestly,
hated her
I
character.
finished the season and I was like, it wasn't great. But the more I talk about it, the more I realize that I wasted so much time watching that show.
It's like, well, yeah, that there was a lack. Her character's flat and has no pulse, basically. But that's why I enjoyed those little moments that where we
Well,
do see
11
something in
is,
her.
you know who's a really bad character? Will. Because in the first season, his entire character was, he was the driving force.
Hmm.
So he didn't have a personality.
Yeah.
and then they forgot that going into season 2, so they never gave him a personality.
Oh
So
yeah.
now he just
Will
exists.
Will was just remember you're a leader
He
who
should have just
binds us
died.
together. Yeah. Will's ugh. Dustin is and Lucas are way better.
Will honestly in season 1, Will was bordering on a MacGuffin. He was basically just that thing that everyone wanted.
Basically. I mean, Elle is already a MacGuffin. Like, let's be honest.
Well, she's not because she kind of has a driving force. Like
What is
you couldn't have
what
replaced
is her
Elle.
driving force?
She's got all these powers and she's got a mysterious past.
Sounds like a MacGuffin. Kind of
That's
like,
not that's not what a MacGuffin is.
kind of like
It,
it has all these
could
maps
let
and
me ask you a
mysterious
question.
location.
There's a reason. Elle could not have been replaced by a shiny Charizard.
Hmm.
Will totally could have been replaced by a shiny Charizard.
Actually, yeah, you're right on that one. He could have, not in the first season. In the first season,
kind
definitely not.
kind of
No,
in the first season. I think like a rare Pokemon card Will could have totally been replaced by a rare Pokemon card.
I would have loved to see number one
When
get replaced with a shiny Charizard.
that doesn't really work though, because at least 11 or number one. That's so funny. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for 11 because 11 actually does things in the plot.
They're
Imagine Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder totally could have just been freaking out that she lost her shiny Charizard.
I don't. That is kind of true. As long as the freaky Charizard has the ability to feel disturbances in the upside down in the back of his neck.
Well, it's shiny, so it's shiny. So what happens is like it's like almost like reflecting the upside down, which is why it's a
Oh,
shiny Charizard.
ooh.
So that's why the electricity thing works. Like it's basically they're reflecting signals from the upside down from the shiny Charizard. Yeah, it totally could have worked.
uh, yeah, and well, going back, definitely, you watch season one. I actually rewatching it. I really enjoyed it, but
Sure, you did.
but they're setting stuff up to bring Max back. They're gonna
So
get.
apparently they have a Demogorgon like a Stranger Things Demogorgon in Magic the Gathering, which doesn't make any sense because Magic the Gathering is a Wizards of the Coast property. So they have a regular
So is Magic
Demogorgon
the
in
Gathering. So
what?
Magic is also Wizards of the Coast.
No, that's what I just said.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't make any sense because the Demogorgon is already in Magic the Gathering,
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure as a regular card, like the regular Demogorgon, like the dragon.
Yeah.
But then they add this other thing with the exact same name, which really just confuses things. By the way, Magic the Wizards of the Coast gets a lot of free press in Stranger Things,
They do.
which is I hate it because I hate Wizards of the Coast.
Mhm. I'm looking up like Demigorgon Magic the Gathering. There's Demogorgon's Clutches. That is not the card true name Nemesis, but that was somebody did a Demogorgon custom art for it. But yeah, no,
It was
there's no Demogorgon. Although there is the new Stranger Things campaign book in like for D&D, which I thought
there
was
was a it
really
was like
strange.
huh it maybe it's not. Yeah, I didn't. This was just something my brother said that Magic the Gathering had like a Stranger Things set.
They do.
But it seems so weird to me that Magic would have that, given that they already own the property to the regular Demogorgon.
Hmm.
By the way, if you looked up Demogorgon 6 years ago, it probably would have just given you D&D. But now it's all Stranger Things.
Let's look this up.
You have to get like okay, maybe answer number 10 becomes D&D.
Well, so Demigorgon, yeah, Stranger Things. Stranger Things, Stranger Things, Stranger Things,
Oh, I get the name Demigorgon. So Demi
Stranger
means
Things.
many. Or no, that's Poly. Demi means what does Demi mean? Two?
Even more Stranger Things. The
Yeah.
monster from Stranger Things.
Does
Demigorgon Wikipedia. Oh, I get a Wikipedia article on the Greek mythology of Stranger Things as like a sixth result. or
That's
not the
interesting.
Greek. Yeah,
So the Demogorgon, there all the art of it has like baboon heads. Is that really what the Demogorgon has?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, from the Dungeons and Dragons stat block.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
that
I,
it was
I
the
always
theme
imagined them to
created.
be more beastly, not quite baboons. Huh.
Let's look up Demigor. I'll look up Demigorgon Greek mythology.
Stats. Yeah, let me find the stat block.
Yeah, it is a
It's
two-headed ape with a tail.
it's not baboon head though. They're more like beastly.
Oh no, it is a baboon head in these pictures.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the actual block. Prince of Demons, a Sabian beat, a master. The demon lord is a meld of different forms with saurian lower body parts and claws, webbed feet, as well as stacked tentacles sprouting from its shoulders, a great ape-like torso, surrounded by two hideous simian heads. Yeah, not necessarily baboons.
Hmm.
They're simian heads, which means they're monkey-like.
Yeah.
So it's yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know why everyone draws them like baboon heads. I mean, it looks kind of cool with the orange and the blue, but that's not necessarily what it is. By the way, in season one of Stranger Things, don't they throw down the Demogorgon as a dragon?
Yeah, they do. It's like a two-headed dragon.
It's a two-headed demon, not a dragon.
Oh, yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Which I
but
thought was really weird.
in the first season, I'm pretty sure that the mini that he threw down was a dragon mini.
Well, a lot of demigorgons, yeah, they do have two heads. So it was like, because I was always confused. It's like they throw down the demigorgon token, but then they proceed to show in the show not demigorgons, but call them demigorgons.
Yeah,
And
well, in the show they call it the Demogorgon because they're fighting it, but it doesn't even have two heads.
and as a DM who removed demigorgons from my campaign because of the show Stranger Things, and I was kind of sad about that. But yeah, they're not what they are. In the show, it's a very bad representation. I don't know why they call it demigorgons. Like, because in the show they're go or Stranger
Yeah, he
Things,
throws down a dragon looking thing in the show, the piece that he throws down,
Stranger Things, they're
which I
definitely
guess.
going more of like a Lovecraftian art style with their like monster design.
Yeah, but to be fair, Lovecraft, the Demogorgon, it Lovecraft described things very similar to how the Demogorgon is described in the book.
Mhm.
So it had beastly feet and tentacle hands and like a simian torso and head and two heads. That's
Mhm.
very Lovecraftian already. Like
Yeah,
Lovecraftian was all about like beasts and slime and the unknown. He was scared of air
it's more
conditioners.
about like unnaturality in design, like very asymmetric character design. What was nightmarish and almost random.
Non-Euclidean geometry,
Yeah,
which is all geometry, being that we live on a sphere. But Lovecraft does this thing. Lovecraft wrote a short story called Cold Air, I think it was. It's about air conditioners.
hmm
Actually, it's about a guy who's staying alive by blasting his AC when ACs first came out. But
hmm
like, that's pretty funny though. The guy was scared of air conditioners. He was like, "But what is this magic box that makes the air cold?"
Well, okay, so yeah, Lovecraftian. It's a subgenre of horror fiction, emphasizes the horror of the unknowable and the incomprehensible. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Whatever.
Whatever. Seriously.
Hmm.
Dude, they need to make a new Rainbow Six game. Like Rainbow Six has too many characters now. They just like hit a hard reset.
How do you think we feel playing League of Legends that has over 150 characters?
Yeah, it's dumb.
That's it's like
Your
it's
game is
too many.
dumb.
Not to mention that every other week they release like multiple new skin lines.
How many people on a team in League of Legends?
5.
Okay, so there was a game called Evolve where it was 4 people on one team and one guy playing the monster that has to evolve to try to kill the 4 people. They have to kill each other.
Hmm.
And it would just randomly assign you a class.
Yeah.
And I think that's how there should just literally be 5 class options in League of Legends, and it just randomly assigns you in a game.
Well, instead of class, there's roles. Like you play
Well, yeah,
different roles.
there should be one character. There are 2 teams, so there should be 2 characters for each role, one on each team, and it just randomly assigns you every game.
So you get to pick 2 roles to play from, and and basically yeah. But if you might get auto filled into a different role if need be, like if you're unlucky.
I think, yeah, but like I think it should just auto, just so just so there's not too many characters.
Mhm.
It should literally just, and maybe you can upgrade your character so you can equip it with different things. Like if you are
Well,
the healer,
that all happens in the game when you build items. Like you kind of farm up, you
I'm
earn
not
gold, you
talking
buy
about League of
rank.
Legends. All right,
Oh,
well, I am kind of, but
you are.
I'm talking about class-based games. It should just there should not be options.
Hmm.
Like it should just totally randomly assign you. You basically have a 1 in 5 chance of playing any character, and you get to build up that like so. Okay, so there's the tank, and there's the healer, and there's the buffer, and there's the damage, and I don't know what would the last one be besides those guys. The range maybe like the sniper.
Not
Uh,
really.
is there anything other than those guys? Healer, buffer, tank, uh, damage.
Well, control.
Yeah, control, like setting traps and stuff. That's a
Control
good
would
one.
be more like mage in League of Legends that uses like damage and crowd control abilities to like
Yeah, so
control
essentially
fights.
you basically have a damage, a tank, a control, and then you have one that's like support buffing and one that's just kind of healing, and you get randomly assigned.
Hmm.
And the problem is
So kind of
if you
like
don't have a good
Overwatch.
community, some people like you may just get people that quit when they get a class they don't like to play.
Well, that's what happens in League. Is you get to choose your 2 roles, but people dodge like every other game. So and you're forced to go through the whole champion select process again
Well,
because
I think
somebody's
my
favorite
solution
champion
would
got banned.
basically just be that you can quit a game at any time, but it's a 20-minute suspension of play.
Mhm.
So, you know.
Well, League has, at least for ranked, it's like if you dodge, I believe it counts as a loss.
And then for ranked play,
But that is,
if you play with a team for like 2 rounds, then everyone can choose their class option.
but then like the argument comes at like it's like why should people take penalties for dodging a game when they have such bad teammates? Because like
Because if they were good enough, then they could just carry their teammates.
Because it's like, why should
You
I
ever,
have to
you ever,
play
you
through a game with my Yasuo mid laner who has a 30% win rate on the champion when you're playing at like wicked high levels? Or what am I supposed to do if the my top laner locks in Teemo at all? Then it becomes like, well, I should be able to dodge that game to protect myself from
no,
essentially
you're
a
no,
more likely loss. And because it's like,
you're gonna no, you're gonna take the loss in the chin.
well, because it's like you're going to take the loss, but you're gonna have to play it out for 30 plus minutes, then wait another
Yep.
20 minutes to get into a queue, and then
First of
it's
all,
like,
nobody said that my new game idea would take 30 minutes. Probably
okay,
it'd be a tactical shooter, so maybe 20 minutes.
yeah, fair. Anyway, I think we're at an hour now, so I think we should probably wrap this one up. It was a little bit of a short one today.
Yeah, but it was Stranger Things. I didn't have a lot to say other than I didn't really like it.
Yeah, I had nothing else to say other than it was really cool, neat. I liked it, but it had a lot of issues.
Cool. All right.
Okay, well, we'll see everyone next week. when we think of what the
For
fuck when we think of what the fuck to do. What if we did like a
for
Pirates of the Caribbean arc?
I like Pirates of the Caribbean a lot, but I don't know if I've seen all of them.
I mean, you don't have to have seen all of them. The last two were skippable.
Any of the Marvel movies that came out recently that you want to review?
No, they all suck.
Yeah, I
We
haven't
could
watched
do
any of them in a
phase.
long time.
It's like we could do kind of phase four as a whole. Could just grade it as an F across the board. Because it's like Thor, the newest Thor movie came out, and that was dog shit. Just
I
like
didn't watch it.
I didn't either, because it was dog shit. If a Marvel movie on Rotten Tomatoes of all sites gets like a 70%, that's almost embarrassing.
Thor had short hair for one movie. Literally, Chris Hemsworth was like, "Hey guys, if we're gonna make this movie good, we really need to cut his hair. It's kind of stupid."
Hmm.
And they kept that for one movie. And he was like, "Let's get rid of the hammer. It's kind of dumb." And they were like, "Okay." And they brought it back the next movie. Like Thor Love and Thunder is not like, come on. They did all the things that made the first Thor bad. The first three, I guess, or first two.
Yeah. Well, the only good Thor movie I think is Thor Ragnarok.
I really liked Ragnarok. Yeah,
Yeah, that was the only good one. Other than that, pretty much everything else Phase 4 is just god awful.
dog crap. I don't know why I stopped myself. All right.
Uh,
Anyway,
we'll see everyone all next week, so
all right.
enjoy
Peace.
and peace.